Hi, this is DC Breaks. We're here at Milan for my gig tonight at Circolo, Magnolia, and we're going to have a chat with Bass Island Radio. Check it out.
Okay, so it's really great to have DC Breaks here in Milan. First time that I interview you guys. First time that I get to interview you.
Yeah, it's exciting. It's good to be here.
Good to have you. How are you?
Very good, very good.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so you've been on the scene for almost 10 years. So how do you always keep things fresh and so innovative?
I think the thing for us is that we're always making music that we like, right? So, you know, I've been listening to drum bass for, like 20 years. So I'm always thinking about the stuff that I was into when I started listening to it and trying to bring that in and give it a modern twist and bring all the production up to like a modern standard. And yeah, I think you just got to keep trying to make the music that you like, and if you like it, hopefully other people like it as well.
Sure, of course. And in 2013, you released 6 amazing tracks, let alone the remixes and the special collabs. So let's talk a bit about the production processes that come together. How do these tracks actually see the light?
So we work in quite an interesting way. So I'm based in Bristol and Dan's based in London. So we both have our own studios, and we kind of start writing music often separately in our own studios, and then we'll send each other ideas. Sometimes this is the drum loop or a bass line, and then the other person can like work it, add some parts, send it back, and then that might happen, hundreds of times. Sometimes it's very quick. Sometimes it takes a long time, and eventually we'll try and get together in the same room so we can talk, and kind of figure out the best way to finish a track and make it all kind of come together.
And talking of studio, do you mind talking us through your studio gear?
Yeah, it's quite simple, really. I just use an Apple Mac, Mac Pro, running Logic Pro, and I don't use a lot of hardware. I've got a Virus TI synth, which is really nice. I use Mackie HR824 monitors, although I'm thinking about moving to Adam soon. I have a TC Power Core, which I'm using less and less as other software gets better and better. And that's about it, really. It's all in the box.
Right. Going back to the very beginning, do you have any mentors when you started out making music?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm privileged to be signed to Ram Records, and that was always for me the label that I loved growing up. So, so Andy obviously was a big influence from the DJing side of things, from production point of view. I think the first drum bass I got into was like LTJ Bookham, Ronnie Size, some of those guys, and their music still sounds amazing to me today. So. Those were kind of early influences, and then later Bad Company came along and brought that dark sound, and that was a lot what we're doing now, that kind of darker sound. So they were a big influence as well. Ed Rush and Optical, all those guys.
Well, to me personally, your Fires EP was really a manual about how to make drum and bass. So shall we expect another EP this year, or perhaps a full-length album? Yeah,
actually, we're finishing off a full-length album right now. So our next single should be out on Ram in May, and then hopefully the album will be out in September. So we're just kind of filling out the album, looking at where we can maybe, just make it like a whole, complete kind of package, if you like. But most of it's done. All the bangers are done. We're just trying to work on some more musical stuff to kind of fill it out a bit at the moment.
Right. And you don't normally work with vocalists or singers or MCs in your tracks. I mean, the only tracks I can think of are with Bad Humble, and then there's Fever. What is there? Move Closer with Bad Humble. So very few tracks with singers on. How come? Is that a choice? Why?
I think we were working with quite a few vocalists at one point, but we kind of wanted to take it back to straight up drum bass without too many features, and I think now we're kind of coming full circle where we've done a lot of bass heavy tracks like Swag and Gambino and Shaman and those kinds of tracks, and we now kind of want to do some more kind of songs. Dan works a lot in kind of other musical genres with a lot of artists, recording other artists, so he's got a fresh stream of new musicians and singers coming through the door all the time, and some of those are now finding their way onto DC Breaks tracks as well. So we're aiming to a bit more of a wider spectrum of different music in the next year or so, but still keeping that kind of bass heavy vibe that we've been doing lately.
Right. Another thing I noticed, your singles, your releases don't usually come with a package with many remixes on. That's also a choice.
Yeah, I mean, it all just depends on the individual tracks and the music and what you're doing at any given time. So we'll at the moment we're focusing very much on our album and the next single. But once they're kind of locked in, we'll be looking at doing some remixes again for other people, and we also have some other remixes of our music from other people in and around RAM as well to come. Particularly once the album starts coming out, we'll have other people remixing the singles after the album comes out as well.
Right, so we can't wait to hear the album.
Yeah. Me neither.
Last but not least, your tips for future producers and DJs.
Up and coming artists to look out for? That's good. That's a very good question, really. You know what? I spend so much time in my own studio. I really don't I'm really not up on up and coming producers. You've put me on the spot now. Well, I was just in Paris a few weeks ago with a guy called Mind Vortex. Are not up and coming, but they're well established. But those guys' music is amazing.
Yes.
And also Medics. And Medics is also doing some awesome stuff under the Astronaut label name.
Yes.
And that's just new stuff that I hadn't heard of before, which was this is really cool. So, but there's obviously loads of people out there.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.